And we're back.
All right. Welcome back. We're here again on your YouTube screen. And we took a week off. I'm sorry. I don't really totally know what happened, but we're just going to brush past it and pretend that it didn't. But here we are. It is February, and we have professional bass tournaments again, as Jason was bringing up to us right before we hopped on.
Oh, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we are so back. We are so back. It's over. As you know, we're still on the Northeast here on, several inches of ice, and we are very, very far away.
I am so not back yet.
We is a relevant term here. We are not close.
But
I will say, though, I caught a limit of bass yesterday.
What did she go? And what did she go?
Oh, geez. Let's see. Like 5, 8, 10, 11 and a half pounds, probably.
There you go. That'll win a dirt
round. What was
round.
our bait of choice? Was it a shaky head? Was it a rattle trap? Was it a blade bait? Or was it a 3/32 or a 3/64 tungsten jig with a wax worm?
It was a tungsten jig with a live fat head.
There you go.
A win is a win.
Yeah.
Noted for your winter derbs, fellas, the tungsten jig with a live fat head. A little frowned upon in the local Durban scene, but
put that in
works.
Catches smallies, I heard.
Yeah. It can do that as well.
Good stuff.
Ice bassing is really unique, but we talked about that a little bit. We could talk about that more another time, but around the country, things have taken off. The pros had their first event with the MLF on Conroe with their new format, and there's good positive feedback on that. People kind of liked it.
Really? I haven't seen.
First time going through MLF, I didn't see a sea of hang boy ducket from goose bay tackle or whatever, goose pond tackle. It's it kind of worked, and I peeked in here and there. I'm not a huge MLFer, but I dabble.
And it's one period with FFS and 2 without.
One
Is that how it goes?
FFS. Yes, one FFS of the angler's choosing.
Oh, okay. So whenever they want.
And a lot of them, it was actually a really weird thing. It was a common strategy that everybody used it in the first period.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, no, everybody except Mark Davis used it in the first period. And Mark Davis won the first period.
I was going to say, wasn't he in the lead in the first day?
Yeah, he was in the lead in the first period. I think a rookie won the tournament.
Yeah, I saw.
James Potter or something like that.
It wasn't a name I recognized. Yeah.
Oh, he's an up and Justin Cooper. He's an up and comer on there. He's not really a household name, but I'm sure he will be. Congrats to him. I'm sure he'll never watch this, but hey, good job, dude. Hell yeah. But no, we got. I've heard his name, but this is the first time I ever hear him doing damage on the BPT.
Yeah, I just clicked on this guy on the MLF website, and he barely even has any tournaments on here.
No BFLs or anything?
He has a couple BFLs from. Yeah, he did BFLs from 2017, 2018, and 2019.
Did he fish the pro circuit last year?
I'm assuming he had to. He fished the.
Either that or he won the Toyota Series.
Yeah, he fished the Tackle Warehouse Invitationals.
That's what I mean, yeah. So
in 2023.
Must have snuck in there.
And 2020. Oh no, this guy was on. Apparently, he was on the Bass Pro Tour last year.
Oh, he must have just hung around there, right in that little line of
2024 Bass Pro Tour, 7 events. Toledo Bend, 8th place.
7 events. That's all.
Sneaky survivor, then. Good for him.
Toledo Bend, 8th place. Santee Cooper, 47th. Bombed at Dale Hollow.
You had to be
Eufaula,
top 30 though.
26, Chowan River 51st, James River 23rd, St. Lawrence 15th.
Yeah, that probably averaged to a top 30. He was probably one of the last spots to survive the Cullen.
Yeah, not
The
a
great
season.
goal. No, not a bad season at all, you know. And I mean, sorry for not knowing you, guy, but I mean, that's kind of on MLF for not really promoting their anglers and only promoting, you know, the top 10, really, you know.
Top 2.
Top
How
2.
many? What was the cut they made? How many guys are
They-
even 50?
Isn't there
40, but like some people had legacy status, and the rookies got screwed because it was
No,
your
it's
top
not
40
40.
finishes.
It's 66.
I thought it was 50 guys now. 60.
The results
I
of
think-
Lake Conroe have 66 anglers listed.
So maybe it was 50
Well, they
and
must
then
have been the
legend
top
status.
50, and then they had the new class come through, and then some people must have had like an exemption status.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know it screwed the very young guys on it, because a friend of mine, Gray Buck, what they did was they kept your best finishes for your last 3 years. Well, if you only have 1 year,
Oh yeah, you're not really looking too
unless
hot.
you have an absolute knockout season, you're cooked, as the kids say. So that was unfortunate. But
That's brutal. I mean,
it's the nature of the beast. I hate to say it. I think it's a more sustainable model for them, but I hate how, you know, the way they did it.
I just MLF has just been an absolute gong show from the beginning. It's like
Day one.
That's fine. Here's the thing with it, right? Is like you can only change it so much before you completely lose my interest. Like I don't even understand what the format is anymore. They change it every year, and it's
Sometimes
like
halfway into the year.
Yeah.
like if this is supposed, they want to try to package this as like a serious professional sport. What if the NFL just like completely changed the rules every season? Nothing would mean anything.
I mean, they changed the kickoff, and I'm pretty upset about that. But that's
but that's such a minor thing. Like the type of change, like just go from the top. I have always and still do have a problem with the every fish counts format. Every single tournament that every single person fishes throughout the country, whether it's your local club or it's the Bassmaster Classic, is a 5 bass combined weight tournament. That's how everybody does it. They just made it a completely different sport. They made it, if you took the NFL and said, we're not going to do any touchdowns anymore, but every time you get a first down, you get 1 point. Like, people would lose their minds if they did that. It would be a completely different sport, which is what I feel like MLF is. Like, if you're judging, like, who's the best, who's the greatest, you know, whatever. We talked last episode when me, Brennan, and Andre did the draft. I took Jacob Wheeler because I think he's probably the best fisherman in the world. But who really knows?
Until he does 5-fish format again.
You can't compare an MLF win to a Bassmaster win. It's a different sport. You can't compare a Red Crest to a Bassmaster Classic. It's a different sport.
A different animal.
And the sport they're playing in MLF is a different sport than anybody else plays. It's the at the top level of MLF is the only place in the entire world where you will find a every fish counts bass fishing format. Why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense. That's why
the only reason they do that, Al, and if they want to try and shorten it for TV purposes, and that's the only reason they want to try and make it a TV packageable event.
Well, they tried doing it too for fish conservation and all that.
It doesn't work.
If you're trying to make it
that's the logic.
If you're trying to make it a TV packageable event, wouldn't it be a lot easier if you only got to show 5 fish catches from each guy?
Yeah, but I guess they want to do the periods, the 3.
I like the OG MLF when it was 18-foot boats and everyone ran around to different areas. They had their 3 periods, like the OG. Like they didn't know what lake they were going to. That was like the best. That was when it was actually kind of cool and interesting.
Yeah, but then you know, you had your sponsor conflicts with that. Anyway, this could be a whole series if we dive into the inner workings of MLF.
And the reason I went into it, and the point is because, I mean, maybe I should start watching because we got to talk about stuff on a podcast every week now. But I'm at a loss for words on this tournament because I don't watch it. I don't care. Like, and I'm like, I'm sorry to say, there's a lot of guys who fish that I like. I think there's a lot of really, really good fishermen there. I have no problem with MLF. I fish other tournaments within MLF and stuff, but I just the every fish counts format just does not interest me, and that's just the fact of the matter. I've never really watched MLF since they become a thing. I started to watch it a little bit when they did the 5 fish format for 1 year, and then they switched it back right away. So I don't know. Like, I'm sorry to say it, but the fact of the matter is, it's just not really a product I pay much attention to.
It could still, people do love it though.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people that love it.
That do love it, and
Yeah.
it has its place in the sport. I don't know. It's a whole thing. Life would be so much simpler if there was one league. Life would be so much simpler if there was one 5-fish league, but that's just not the animal.
I really don't have any problem at all with there being 2 leagues. Really, the 100% the only problem I have with MLF is that it's not a 5-fish limit. And like, I don't know. I want to see tournaments the way I fish them.
I feel like also with MLF, it's very, like, along with all the rule changes and everything, it's kind of confusing. Like, there's the different periods, there's the different groups on the different days. I have no idea what's going on, how to keep track, what days which.
That's the major thing. The events are just too long, and they're just
aren't they like 6-7 days now?
A cutoff round, a knockout round, an elimination round, a guillotine round, like lightning round. It's like, I don't know. I just want to watch the guys catch the fish and see how they do it.
And it's also one of those things where, like, I don't know about everybody, but like, I go to work and I have a job, and if it's a Thursday and Friday, I'm going to sneak in a little Bass Live here and there when I can. But if you're fishing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I don't have enough time in my day or my week, and you're fishing while I'm at work. Like, I'm just not going to be able to watch it. And when you spread it out that far, and it's like some of the guys I want to watch might not even be fishing that day. So it's like, I don't even need to tune in. Like, who cares? Like,
and there's just so much coverage where it's almost like it's too much. I can't say I get bored of fishing, but I mean, 8 hours a day live streaming, I don't need to watch that much.
It's one of those things where, honestly, I think even a Bassmaster Elite Series event is too long. 4 days is a lot. I think 3-day events is perfect.
I like the 4-day cut, like, stage of it all, but yeah, it's still a lot to watch.
I do like the format of everybody gets to fish 2 days. It would be stupid to go to a 50 cut after just 1 day of fishing. But
50 cut after 2 days, championship day 3. I don't know.
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But that's a whole
nother thing. But that's a very small issue. Like, but to go 7 days of every fish counts, and like some days people are fishing, some days they're not, and it's like, how is that? And then your score is just like 0, and you just get
going into the final day or something.
Everything you've done throughout the week, and it's like, these are all such avoidable things. It's like, well, you have to 0 it because guys are fishing on different days, so it wouldn't be fair. Have everybody fish on the same day. You only got 66 anglers now. What are we fishing on different days for? Why are we doing that?
It's crazy.
I mean,
66 guys. What is it's just more time and resources for them.
You have to realize the bodies of water that they fish, though, are a lot smaller
stuff.
Field.
It's 66 guys.
I fished 30-something boats on a pack off.
Right. 66 guys. What? Give me one body of water that they've ever fished that can't do 66 guys.
Any creek, I don't think could do 66 guys. I think you'll be killing each other in there. Where they're at right now, they do the 2-lake thing. It's like Caney Creek where they were. Were they on Caney Creek this week, or was it Conroe? Oh, they're on Conroe?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Conroe's giant, so like that's not.
It was a Bassmaster Classic at Conroe, so.
No, that doesn't cut that argument, but the Classic's another thing too, because the Classic is
even if it's a small lake, it's 66 guys. I fished a 66 boat tournament on Manasquan before,
and it sucked, and it was
Caney Creek Reservoir is 5,000.
No, it wasn't horrible. Me and Brennan caught 18.5 pounds and came in second.
Yeah,
right. And how many people?
And we beat Ike.
Nobody bothered us all day.
Yeah.
How many? But on any other part of the lake?
I don't know. I wasn't at any other part of the lake. We sat in one spot the whole time.
Right, but
I mean,
like, I don't know.
Think about a flats tournament, dude. A flats tournament is like 100 acres and 100 boats.
That's horrible.
Caney Creek is 5,000 acres. That's so much room for 60 boats.
Well, guess what, buddy? Everybody's got to deal with it.
Yeah. Make the pros have competition like the Joe Schmo.
I don't care. That's just such a terrible excuse for having a ridiculous format.
Oh, no, I agree that, like, the format needs to be shortened. But I do like the idea of having, like, a 30-boat field a day. For the only reason is that maybe they could even start going into not smaller lakes, but, I don't know, more niche reservoirs that can't get killed. I mean, imagine, places like even like Ivy. I don't know. It doesn't kill a place as much. Those small Texas lakes, maybe all those small Midwestern lakes.
I find it hard. I think it would be borderline impossible for them to even, if they tried, to put them on a lake where 66 boats is too much. It's not that.
Imagine
ever is 60.
How big is Wallenpaupack? Wallenpaupack's like what, 4,000 acres? Something like that.
That'd be pushing it.
I mean, 60 boats on Wall. We fished 60 boats on Wallenpaupack.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. They're different animals.
But make them suffer. Make them suffer a little bit. Make the pros fish like the average Joe.
I don't think they are different animals. Go out there and fish. Whatever. I don't know. They're gonna do whatever they want. They're still alive, which I'm surprised about, to be honest. So if it's going well for them, go ahead.
And they upped their grand prize. Did you see that?
No.
125 for first. I don't know the rest of the payouts. Maybe everybody else got like a coin, or like
probably.
I hope it does. I hope it does well, because as somebody who. No, yes, I do. I listen, it's not the format I'm into, but I want as many people as possible to get paid fishing. Which is why I do push back against the people who say there should only be one league, because that's only 100 anglers. And as somebody who, like I said, it'll probably never happen, but as somebody who has like a slight hope of like one day making a living fishing bass tournaments, I want as many people as possible to be getting paid for winning bass tournaments. So
fishing bass tournaments.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't mean this as a bash MLF thing. I hope there are a lot of people who like it. I hope it does well. I hope it generates a lot of money. I'm just saying personally, I prefer to watch the Elite Series just because I prefer the format. It's got nothing to do with the people. It's got nothing to do with the coverage. I like 4 days of 5 bass limit with no zeroing, and everybody fishes every day. I like that a lot better than 7 days of every fish counts. You got 3 different periods. You can use live scope. You can't use live scope. 30 guys go this way. It's cloudy and raining. 30 guys.
2 pound minimum. Don't forget 2 pound minimum.
It's sunny and it's 85 degrees. All the scores 0 and there's 10 guys and it's just a brand new tournament. The past 6 days might as well have not happened. I don't like that. I can't. I don't know what's going on. Every time I turn it on, I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah.
With that said, if people like that and people do know what's happening, I hope it does great. I really do. I really do. I like a lot of people on the MLF side. I just don't get it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
I
one
agree.
day I will. I'm just not there yet.
I need to start watching it this year, or at least tuning in occasionally. See what's going on.
Oh,
Keep
you're already
track a little
behind the
bit.
ball.
Yeah, no, I do need to. I do need to start watching. But right now, I mean, I'm looking at the results, and it's like, I mean, Conroe. I remember.
Conroe's not really like a fantastic fishery. Like when I think of places I want to fish in Texas, Conroe is not there.
No, but that's one of the things is right now I'm looking at some of these results and it like they caught a lot of fish, dude.
And like Conroe, I mean, because you think of the Conroe Classics and when they put them on Conroe on a really weird time of the year, and those guys struggle. I mean, didn't Jay Lee only have 4 fish the one day when he went out there?
Yeah, and then he won the tournament.
Right. Like that's what I'm saying. Like that's not a good thing to only have 4 fish and still win.
Dude, Nick. Oh, these are both the days combined. Still, dude. 30.
Wait, no, a lot of guys caught like 50 fish a day. I've seen 64 fish in a day. That's
nobody caught that many fish a day. But
sure? I thought Mark Rose had 64 fish on day one.
Let's see.
It's not showing Mark Rose on here on any of the days.
Not Mark Rose, Mark Davis. Sorry.
Or Mark Davis. I know what you meant, but I think they see, and this is another thing. They have their results just posted.
Yeah, their website
day one and qualifying day 1 and qualifying day 2 shows the same field. They're not showing the other group at all.
They paid out to 30th place, by the way. 10 grand.
And what was 10 grand for 30th?
10 grand for 21st too. And then it started going up to like 15 and change, and then 20 and change at 10. Yeah.
Half the field honestly, gets paid a living wage. I don't know if they have
place. Justin Lucas got 20 grand.
Do they have an entry fee?
I have no idea. They do.
Yes,
they do.
What's their entry fee?
Their original model and what got everybody to go over there
was no entry.
There was no entry fees, and that lasted for a total of 1 season. And now their entry fee is more than Bassmasters. Well, I guess now Bassmasters is less, but more than Bassmasters traditionally was. I think their entry fee. I don't know if it has changed recently, but as of like a year or 2 ago, the MLF entry fee was like $4,500 a tournament.
Oh, the new format. All right, here's the format that happened at Conroe. Day 1, 66 anglers competed, so they did not break out the groups. Day 2, 66 anglers counted or fished. Day 3, 19, and they zeroed on day 3. Like they re-zeroed everything, and then they re-zeroed again on day 4 for the top 10.
See, this is what I mean. We just talked for
they don't tell anybody that. They don't make that known.
Yeah, we just talked for 20 minutes about the format and that we didn't even know what it was.
Also, they limited the use of, it says use of forward-facing and or 360 sonar is limited to 1
that shoots
period.
In front of the boat. Anything that shoots in front of the boat doesn't have to be live.
So it's no 360 either.
Yeah.
Right. Any forward. Any type of forward unit.
Also, for the record, Zub, Mark Davis only caught 18 fish.
You're better than me.
Yes, but definitely not 60.
Yeah, quite the difference.
But
way too confusing.
I don't know. That's not that confusing. That's a 4-day cut system.
I mean, no, it's confusing because it's been constantly changed. Like
that's a lot better. But that's the problem.
That is a lot better.
But also 2 days of re-zeroing your weight too. So days 1 and 2 didn't count for anything. You get zeroed, and then you get zeroed all over again. Like, what happens if the guy?
I'm only a fanboy. I don't hate that. Imagine day 1 and 2. You know, you just go to 30th
I
place. Now,
despise
if you just sneak through the cut, you have a chance to win the tournament now.
But also imagine the
No, imagine
flip.
if they won it.
You blew
Being-
by
I know,
all
being
the
at
other people, and then you're kind of ran out on the last day, and now you just get smoked by the guy that was
strategy, man.
squeezing.
If you're on him, you're on him. Figure him out. I don't know.
Listen, there are a lot more tournaments than just MLF that have done the zeroing weights on the last day thing. I'm not interested in any of them. I'm really like you can call me old fashioned, this, that, or the other. I don't like it when they change rules in baseball. I don't like it when they change rules in football. I'm very big on the continuity of the sport. Like no matter what it is, like I don't know, when you change the amount of games you play in a football season, now records don't mean anything anymore.
Sure.
You know, when you change the entire format of how a bass fishing tournament works, I don't even know what I'm watching. I don't know what I'm comparing it to. I don't know how impressive or unimpressive what I'm watching is. I know that it's probably not the most popular opinion. I don't know, maybe it is. I know it's probably an old school opinion, but if we're going to call this a professional sport, everything's got to be the same. And if it's not, I don't care how many days it is, 3, 4, 2, 5, whatever. That's whoopsie wopsy. If it's not 5 fish a day and every day adds up, I do not care about it.
What is their? Does their format change for each tournament, or is it?
That would be crazy. I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, they've only done one, so
Yeah, no, I'm like trying to see if they're.
Well, no, because they have their normal ones, and then they have their heavy hitters thing, and then they have the team series, which I like the team series too. That's fun.
I like watching when they put the little team series TV shows together. I love watching those. I love watching those.
Ooh, the heavy hitters is on Smith Mountain. That would be kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, I did see
but
that.
it's in May.
Exciting.
They go to the Potomac too.
They have exciting schedules.
Yeah, the schedule's
really
pretty good.
It's really getting better.
It would be really awesome if it was an actual bass tournament.
Does Canadian football not football?
Have you ever watched a full Canadian football game in your life?
Absolutely not.
There it is. Done. Finished. Yeah. Topic over.
All right, then with that new topic, not the only tournament that fired off. Congrats, Mr. Cooper. The old, as fellow washed up college anglers, the college series fired off again on the most despicable, saddening things I have ever seen. Have you seen those results from those tournaments?
Which one?
I saw Harris Chain. I didn't see the Potomac yet, or Okeechobee yet.
You know what the cut was for Harris Chain? Top 25?
10.
I didn't see it. I know Okeechobee was 13, and everybody fishing the same 50 feet of each other.
Yeah, I saw those pictures.
Yeah, actually, I want to see the results of Okeechobee because my boat was in it.
Oh, he fished it? Did he do well?
I don't know. I haven't looked at the results yet. I'm going
I don't know if he messaged you.
What school does he fish for?
Coastal Carolina. But he texted me that before the tournament. He was like, everybody's going to be fishing right next to each other.
Not wrong.
Well, Okeechobee, my one buddy got third. We get him on here maybe next week.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Fella. He won the high school championship. The big one. The MLF Worlds on Hartwell.
Really?
Pennsylvania kid that got bought out to the south. Nice kid. Wealth of knowledge.
There's a lot of.
I mean, also
That's not that bad on the Harris Chain.
What was
20th place? 20th place was
25th.
25th was 13 pounds 12 ounces.
Still, though,
Florida?
I mean,
yeah, but that. I feel like that's always Florida tournaments.
It was also a ridiculously
horrible cold front.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it was a one-day tournament. One day got canceled, and it was a ridiculous cold front.
Yeah.
I'm actually looking at the results for Okeechobee right now. The results for Okeechobee were. Wait, is this 2 days?
2 days, yes.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, not great.
I was gonna say they're actually not bad, but then I realized they're 2 days. Yeah, the old boat didn't have the best showing.
Oh no.
But didn't have the worst.
Shouldn't we be fishing Florida this much? Are we killing Florida? Are we fishing Florida at the wrong time?
I don't think Florida's ever that. It always has steep drop offs. There's always like a handful that like catch some Florida giants, but I feel like 12 pounds is always like a top like 20 kind of thing.
Yeah, everybody thinks that Florida is like, oh, how did everybody not catch 20 pounds? Look at any Florida Elite Series tournament. The top 50 cut is like 12 pounds a day.
Yeah. But Florida's not like as exceptional as you make it out to be. Like, can you catch a giant there? And your odds of it are way higher than anywhere else. But it's not like a tournament factory. Like, I feel like Texas is way better than Florida if you're going to go catch giant 20-pound bags consistently.
Well, I mean, Florida is one of those things where they're finicky with the weather. Like, there's a lot of tournaments where you have a 4-day tournament there, and one of the days the weather lines up, and everybody absolutely smashes them, and then it's like a completely different lake the other 3 days. Like, there are so many times where somebody will catch like a 30-something pound bag on the second day and just ride that into the final day surrounded by like 13 and 14 pounds on the other days.
Yeah.
Like,
because they always go to Florida in February, January, March when you have all the cold fronts still coming through, and they almost
it's the only place that doesn't suck to be in right then.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think these tournaments were particularly bad timing. Like,
with the crazy Arctic.
I mean, gosh, well, you had the bad fronts there. It was like negative everything here, and the fronts were ridiculous even down there. That was when we had that snow in Louisiana. Was the week they were down there, I believe, right?
There was 9 inches of snow in Pensacola, Florida.
Yeah,
that's not great. The Florida Bass are confused.
Like 3 days before that, it was like 3 days before that Harris Chain tournament.
It's the coldest those Florida Bass have ever seen in the last 20 years.
They couldn't have picked like a worse time for it to be, but that's just what it is.
But hey, cold fronts in Florida. I'm happy to talk about it because that means we're slowly getting closer to the thaw up here.
Yeah, I mean these Okeechobee results.
Oh, Okeechobee needs to be condemned and repaired.
These Okeechobee results are brutal.
Oh, Okeechobee's definitely.
These Okeechobee results are brutal. The winner was 42 pounds for 2 days.
Oof.
So barely 20 pounds a day won a 200-something boat tournament.
Okeechobee.
And I mean, by
the weather wasn't bad.
By 5th place, it's 35 pounds.
At that time, the front stabilized. It was, average 70s. There was no bad weather.
Takes a while sometimes, bro. When those Florida fish get hit with something like that, dude.
You're not wrong.
Okeechobee is also in a bad spot right now, from what I hear.
Okeechobee's.
Here's the main thing that probably threw Okeechobee off. Is you have all that precipitation up north. Where's it going? Like, it was probably a mud pit.
Well, it was a mud pit. There was, and that's the issue you have with Okeechobee is there. I mean, I've heard Scott Martin talk about it and certain things. The grass situation is not being managed well there, and the only way you're getting clear water is grass, and there's only like the amount of like good bass fishing grass covered water in Okeechobee has shrunk significantly. Whereas I don't know if you guys remember in the Open last year, like 90% of the field was on this spot on the south end of the lake because it was the only clear water. 90% of the field at this college Bassmaster event was on this spot.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's I'm not down at Okeechobee. I'm not local to there. I don't know if that's a coincidence or not, but it's starting to seem like the lake is shrinking significantly. And those fish in the same area probably keep getting beat up on because it's like the only place
they're going to go.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know what the deal is down there. I have heard a lot of people who are from that area complaining about how the lake is being managed right now. And like I said, I don't know if this is timing. I don't know if this is, because I'm not local there. I'm not plugged into everything, but this is twice in a row that it's proven what a lot of the concerned people down there are saying. It's proven them right.
The elites are on there this year. That's going to be it. I guess we'll find out for sure.
Yeah, when they all pull up to the exact same spot as the college kids and the Opens.
That, and everybody's going to go to Tyler Rivette's crappie hole. Probably shoot each other in the process.
Yeah, that's going to be, when is that? End of February, beginning of March, I think. That's going to be an interesting one. They go to the St. John's first.
Right. With that, the very important thing, announcing, blindsiding both of you guys, is the first annual Bumps Talk Bass Fantasy Bass Fishing Group of the Bassmaster Elite Series.
Oh, we should do that. We should give picks.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? We can do a little fantasy breakdown.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. We could play a beat Zub.
Beat Zub.
Yeah.
You don't have to beat Ronnie Moore, just beat Zub.
Zub. It doesn't take much.
We should open up a Bumps Talk Bass.
We can keep track
of our own thing
here and stuff.
Yeah.
I would be very, very excited to do that. I will take care of that. But yeah.
The first one's February 20th.
Winner gets a special prize.
Used Sims hat from Zoom.
Oh. Winner gets a signed Jason Zubris, signed Brandon Polinick hat.
Better yet, a signed wake bait from Zoom.
Nah, you take that.
And to Johnny's pork sandwich.
Now we're talking.
Signed sandwich.
Absolute fire. But yeah, I mean, all this tournament talk, all this, and today I think was the first day of the year where it really hit me because I'm coming off of back-to-back pretty good days of ice fishing. Me and Zub went out on Saturday, and I went out again on Sunday. And for our usual ice fishing standards around here, it was really, really, really good. And I came out the other end of it being like,
time for the move.
Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, you're cashed out.
And I mean, I'm not done. As long as we have ice, I'm gonna fish it. But
I'm
at the point where I'm not giddy about it anymore, and I want.
I'm so giddy about it.
I just want to.
I'm giddy about both.
I want to just be backing the boat at the ramp so bad.
Like I said before, ice fishing used to be my favorite type of fishing. Period. I used to look forward to ice fishing more than anything else, and I still love it, and I still have a good time doing it. But it's just.
I don't like the cold anymore.
I want to zing it. I want to let it rip.
Yeah. Well, we got another probably month and a half until that happens at this rate.
I'm probably March this weekend, so.
You're what?
I'm probably going to pick up my boat this weekend. Psych.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, what's the update? What's the 9 month? No, we're going on 8 month update here.
End of September.
End of September 25?
24. No, that's when it went out. That's when
Oh, but the boat was broken in July, so like this is like 8 months.
Yeah.
Of no nitro.
I contested my dismissal of claim, and I'm waiting for a reply on that.
Nice. What was their excuse on the claim?
There was missing paint on my skeg.
Missing paint on the skeg. Don't they know Mercury has a bad paint issue?
And that there was also rub marks, symmetrical rub marks under the boat, which were from my trailer. That had to be actually just totaled because it was built wrong.
By that,
I had to buy a new trailer out of pocket. Oh yes, I had to buy a new trailer out of pocket because my trailer was angled like this, and my boat wouldn't sit on it correctly. So
that trailer was new, wasn't it? Wasn't it
brand new with
nitro
the boat? Yeah, no, it was brand new with the boat, and it was going weird. I kept blowing bearings. I blew 4 bearings in a row. I go, what's going on? And so I had to buy a new trailer out of pocket.
I would be suing the crap out of Nitro.
We're not going to use that language yet.
Well, you're gonna have to if they.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I'm prepared.
I would not be paying for that out of pocket.
We're not going to use any language just yet.
That's crazy. So they said your boat is rubbed evenly because the trailer is bad that we built for you.
Yes, but and they said that's they said that was silent impact damage.
That's crazy. If anyone from Nitro watches this, help our boy Zoop out because that's asinine.
I mean, if you want to leave people not supporting your business is a really good way to do it.
The main thing I'm very upset about is the fact, I guess I'm going to hit him here. I got no communication from them, and you guys both know this. But they shipped my boat back in the middle of winter with a notice on it. I get a call from Bass Pro Harrisburg saying, "Hey, what? You guys don't know this?"
No, you didn't say this.
No, they never told me my boat was coming back. When my dad was getting open heart surgery, I got a call from Bass Pro in Harrisburg saying, "Hey, why is your boat here?" Yeah.
So this was like what 2 weeks ago now? 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Jeez.
3 weeks ago now.
So they denied your claim and then just shipped it right back out to you.
Yeah, and then I never got a follow-up email saying why, like, oh, we're going to dispute this so I could get... I never would have had the opportunity to say, hey, you're giving me the runaround here. They just shipped it back before I even had the chance, and they sent the email back, with my boat just sitting in the cold. And here's the main thing that I'm concerned about. I did 0 winter maintenance to the boat because it was September.
Yeah.
I didn't change my lower fluid out. I didn't de-ice anything. There isn't a big cover on it or anything. There's my travel cover on it.
Oh, that travel cover has been taken off, I bet. They probably
it's definitely been taken off. I mean, the boat was off the trailer for obvious reasons.
I mean, the boat's totaled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if they're not totaling it, and now it's getting more damaged while it's under their care, not my fault.
I mean, this is some of the worst business I've ever
seen. I have a lot of different lines on this. I mean, people in the Elite Series are having similar trouble, which is a crazy thing, which is why you're seeing a lot of shift.
But with Nitro or just White River?
With White River.
Yeah, or White River, that's what it is. Yeah.
But I mean, I don't even understand why they won't just give me a new hull, because I guarantee that they're building those boats for maybe $10,000 max. With the amount of wood that is in that boat is despicable.
There's wood in it? That's even crazier.
Did you not see the pictures? I'll put the... I don't want to do a roast. I really don't want to do this because I don't know if this could hurt my case or slander or something. I don't know.
You're just giving an honest review.
I'm being completely honest. This is everything that's happened with me so far.
I can't believe they still
said that my rub rail was missing screws. I go, no shit, they backed out. They didn't just back out. My screws sheared off.
Dude, I have a 2009 and I haven't seen a single screw in my rub rail pop out yet.
You go, oh, your screws can back out. No, they can't.
Shouldn't.
No.
My 99 Ranger had less problems than that boat.
My only concern with this is that when this comes around, if I just don't feel like doing this, I might just take my insurance. I hope my insurance still helps me out with this.
Yeah, total number 2. It's not the same insurance, right?
Insurance, no, different. I'm with Progressive now. Insurance doesn't cover if you were out in a small craft advisory.
Were you out in the small craft advisory?
There was one posted later in the day, but I was fishing the BFL on Champlain, and they would not have sent us out if there was one.
Well, you didn't.
The small craft advisory, you were coming home at that time because you saw the notification and you had to get back to the ramp. That's
I feel like likely in this case, your insurance would try to take up for you with White River.
Yeah,
I wonder if my freaking insurance is going to give me like I don't know. They'll say we can make a lot more money right now if we just sue them for you. I don't know how that's going to work, or if they're going to fight that.
I think your insurance, I don't know how they would exactly go about it, but I think your insurance would most likely help you in this situation because it's mutually beneficial to them to not have to pay that out to you and to get it instead.
You should tell Progressive to do a run on how much they've paid out on boats, the other customers with nitros.
I don't want to think about it. I just want my check, and I just want to never set foot in another White River Marine boat ever again besides the tracker that I'm be using for a very long while.
Remember when we told you not to buy a nitro? Crazy concept.
Yeah, like it was either I looked back. This was the decision that actually shaped my mental health for the next 5 years. It was either that nitro, or it was I believe it was a 2004 or 2008 Bass Cat Pantera 2.
You would have been so good with that.
The reason I never got the Bass Cat Pantera 2 was because it was the same price. It had nothing on it, and it had a E-Tech, and I saw the 4-stroke instead of the 2-stroke. I'm like, oh, the two, I don't, 2-stroke's gonna blow up, 2-strokes, not reliable. And then within a year, the 4-stroke blew up.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I keep thinking it was the original. That one. Yeah, told you.
I mean, this is a second boat. The second motor, second boat.
Yeah. You went from used nitro motor to brand new motor.
Separate. That's not even their motor.
Yeah. You just got the hull and slapped the engine on it.
Yeah, they made me put a 2011 motor on a freaking 2022 boat.
That was crazy. And then she lasted. When you put the new engine on, you just ran it, or not the new engine, the old engine. That blew on the new boat after like the first 2 months, 3 months with it.
What do you mean? First 3 days, I got the boat, drove to Oklahoma, blew day 3 in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Well, that was like day 5 in Oklahoma because practice.
That was day 5 in Oklahoma because practice, but not great.
No.
Not a great look.
Anyway,
that's a lot of yapping. We could yap about my.
Yeah, let's talk about something less depressing.
Fun, uplifting, positive. Al, what do you got? Give me the happiness since you're the king of happiness.
Well, I mentioned this before. Me and Brennan tried this out with Andre in our last episode, and I thought it was fun, and we can make it like a more regular segment. We did a Mount Rushmore draft, which a lot of other podcasts and shows and stuff do this type of thing. I'm sure you're familiar with the format. It's 4 picks. So it's basically just a 4-pick draft. And you pick your Mount Rushmore of blank. Last week, what we did was a hypothetical situation where we have a 5-man tournament team. You can pick any 4 guys in the world who's on your team. This week, I want to do the Mount Rushmore draft of best bass fishing bodies of water.
Hmm.
Couple stipulations. one, I want to keep it in the United States because none of us have ever been to any of the places outside of it. Two,
well, okay.
I want it to be like real nationally known bodies of water, like the retention pond down the street from your house that has 8-pounders in it cannot count in this.
Can you stop telling people about that?
But you know what I mean. So I'm going to do a random number generator for our order like we did last time.
I'm about to start stocking the pond behind my new house so I get some 8-pound genies in there.
Also, another
Pick a number. Yeah.
Has there... Oof. I'm trying to think about the best way to word this.
Okay.
Does it have to be a tournament body of water? Has a major tournament had to have occurred on this body of water?
When you say the body of water, am I going to know what you're talking about?
Potentially. I'm still throwing it up there.
I feel like a relatively larger body of water. Like,
I prefer it to be something that people are going to know.
Think like 5,000 acres and up. Not Manasquan Reservoir.
I don't want to burn some holes, actually. So I'm going to keep it on tournament bodies of water.
Were you going to say what we were talking about?
No, not that one.
Okay.
I'm actually, I just sent it. I'm not. Check the private chat.
Yeah. Oh, I'd be fine with that.
Okay.
But anyway, Zoo, pick a number, 1, 2, or 3.
Do I have to pick one of those?
Yes.
2.
Brennan, pick a number, 1, 2, or 3.
1.
Okay, well, I'm going first. Zub is going second, and Brennan is going third.
That seems rather rigged.
So, number 1.
What Alex's number 1 is.
We all know what this is gonna. If it was me or I don't know about Zub, but if it was me or Brennan, it was gonna be this.
Yep.
And you can call me a homer. I don't care. I've been all around the country. Nothing compares to Lake Champlain.
Agreed.
Are we going 4, 3, 2, 1? Is this like a are we going from bottom to top? Are these all the same? Or are we talking like this is God Lake?
These are just your 4 favorite lakes that haven't been picked by us.
The 4 best bass fishing bodies of water.
Okay. Yeah, no.
Like,
can't go wrong with that. That's
it's a snake. It's a snake draft too. So like you get the third, or Brennan gets a third and fourth pick. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I with our 1-1, I'm taking Champlain. And for people who don't know about Champlain, the reason I'm taking it 1-1 is, one, there's so many fish. You can catch fish anywhere on the lake from north to south. And it's one of those rare bodies of water where you can win a tournament on smallmouth or largemouth. I mean, in the same day, you can go flipping and frogging for 20 pounds of largemouth and then go scoping in 40 feet for 20 pounds of smallmouth. In a tournament, there's always going to be a winning pattern, a winning way, but this is as close as you can get to truly like being able to do whatever you want to do. Everybody can go there and fish their strengths. If you're not fishing a tournament and you're just worried about fun fishing, pick your favorite way to catch a bass and spend the day doing it. You'll catch some fish doing it. It's so big and so diverse that, you have the South End Ticonderoga, which is just like a grass fishing largemouth factory. And then you have up north 200 feet of water where you can fish for lake trout and stuff if you wanted to. But you can, it's the combination of you can do anything you want to, and also in doing anything you want to, you'll catch fish. Like, it's not just doing, it to do it. You'll catch fish however you want.
And the place is massive. You could just fish one bay your entire day, or your entire week.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go to Champlain if you want to go to Champlain for a week and launch at 7 different ramps, you can fish 7 different lakes, pretty much.
Yeah. And spend hours traveling between all.
But anyway, that's my 1-1. I think it was a clear and obvious pick, in my opinion.
I think it's a goated first pick, or 1-1 across all of us.
So, pick number 2, Jason, you're on the clock.
I'm on the clock for number 2.
You are.
I thought we were doing like, so we're just doing round robin style. I see.
It's a snake draft.
It's a snake draft. I understand. Now, this is a bold one. This is a really bold one because I'm stuck between 2. This is a really bold take. I'm going with Grand Lake of the Cherokees. I mean, I'm sorry.
Dear Lord.
No, absolutely not. But it does start with a G. I'm going to keep it simple.
By the way, in the later rounds, I don't think that's like a shocking pick to be on this list. But anyway.
I'm going to have to go with Gunnersville right now. And the main reason I'm going with that.
That was my 2.
It's because after getting pounded and pounded relentlessly as the mecca of all things bass fishing, it still kicks them out, and you could still go there and you could still crack them. And that fishery is so phenomenally healthy right now. Gosh, you're catching 4 or 5 pound spots out of there right now. They're catching smallmouth out of there right now that are freaks. And they just keep coming. I'm not saying to abuse the resource, but it's there and it's being managed phenomenally. And it is probably one of the toughest bodies of water to compete on right now because, yes, you have all that local knowledge, but you can still go out there and compete. It's everything that's great about the sport, I think. Comes back to there.
Yeah, I mean, that was number 2 on my list for the same exact reasons. I mean, this lake is honestly a real killer to the conservationists because this lake goes against, it goes against everything that everybody says about fishing pressure and what happens when you put too many guys on a lake. I mean, this lake has 300-400 tournament boats every weekend all year. And I mean, they recently had an ABT out there, and the amount of mid to high 20s bags in a January tournament was mind-blowing. I mean, the place, no matter what you do to it, no matter how many boats you put on it, it continues to be insane. It almost gets better.
Even after the domination of forward-facing sonar and how fish are reacting to that, they're still pinging them. And those guys out there, they know how to do it. They know how to do everything down there. They're pretty dang good at doing things.
And it's another lake. It's not like obviously Champlain level, but it is another lake where you can catch them doing a lot of different things.
Oh, absolutely. You have the grass, you have your deep structure, you have your ledge fishing out there.
I caught my first ledge fish on Gunnersville for the whopping 5 hours I got to fish it. It was so cool. Through a 10XD.
I mean, you can flip, punch, frog. You can fish deep ledges. You can live scope them. You can crank riprap. You can throw a jerk bait on.
You junk fish up shallow. You can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And you can win doing anything, any given time. And not only are you going to win, you can win big. Because it's still always going to take that upper 20s to freaking win up there, that mid 20s, every single time. And if you don't have that extra couple ounces, the guy right behind you is going to have them.
It's a mind-blowing thing. It really is.
Shout out to whatever Alabama Parks and Wildlife's doing on that pond.
It's working, whatever it is.
Something about that lake, you can't kill it. There's nothing you can do. It's unbelievable.
Knock on wood.
But Bren brings us to you.
Boy. Let's see. Well, I'm torn. This is tough because I haven't been a lot of these legendary places.
I think
like
this
my first choice was Champlain. My second choice was going to be Gunnersville, but I fished both of those, so I felt like I could vouch for it. So I could go a couple ways, like places that are maybe not as legendary to everybody, but I've been to and I think are pretty awesome. Or I can go with like another like legendary lake, but I've never been to.
Yeah, I mean,
A place that could put out, but not necessarily have much on it.
I think it was a clear 1-2.
Yeah.
And you could have swapped those either way. It gets really hard here.
I'm going to go, since I have 2 picks here and back to back, I'm going to do
one of each.
One more legendary, and then I'll go into one that I feel like we all have fished and actually know. So I think number 1 would be Lake Fork. Because I think that place is pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to go there. And it
Yeah.
puts out some giant fish, but never been there.
The only
problem
Yeah. What was that?
I mean, Lake Fork, you're just like, they designed Lake Fork.
It's pond. Yeah, Lake Fork, it's your local pond.
Lake Fork wasn't designed to be a flood control reservoir with the consequences of giant bass. Yeah. Lake Fork, from its inception, was designed to be a mega bass factory. Shout out Mega Bass Vision 110. But no. Lake Fork, I mean, I don't know if you know about this. I mean, this is when they first decided that they were going to flood Lake Fork, they just made little ponds all around it. You know about this, Al?
Loosely.
And what they did when they made these ponds, they just hammered megalodon F1s into these little ponds and little baby reservoirs all around Lake Fork, all in the different creek arms.
Mm.
And then when it finally rose to, the height that they had to have it at, there was already a mature population there, and they just flooded it with forage. And with the best science at the time, they made it the factory.
I mean, it's literally a pond on steroids by size.
Yeah, I mean, it's another place that similar to Gunnersville kind of defies the odds, because unlike Gunnersville, it's not that big.
No.
Lake Fork is not the biggest lake going. And there actually was a long time, due to the slot limit and this, that, and the other thing, that there wasn't a lot of public exposure and there wasn't a lot of fishing pressure. I mean, now they have like Elite Series tournaments and stuff on there, but
have the heavy conservation efforts with that, though.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly the thing, is the difference between that and Gunnersville is you don't have 200-300 local tournaments going out, because on a smaller level, you still can't do the tournaments because you can't have a marshal weighing and releasing fish at your club tournament.
Yeah, you got your lovely slot limit.
So, I mean, I don't know what things look like over there, but I would imagine there's not a lot of tournaments on Lake Fork.
Yeah. Lake Fork it looks like, is 26,000 acres. So it's smaller than Smith Mountain. But that's still big. I mean, it's still a big lake.
Big lake, but it's not.
It's not your giant.
It's not Gunnersville or Champlain.
No. But I think it deserves it. I mean, it is designed to be a trophy bass lake.
Yeah, and I mean, in terms of like giant caliber, like 10+ pound fish, it's a.
How many 40-pound bags were from there this past year?
Probably a lot.
Like 2 or 3, or even what was on the Elite Series? There's like 1 or 2, right? 40-pounders.
I don't think
40.
I thought they had a 40. Maybe it was like 39 or something like that.
They had one up there. They had the largest bag ever, I know.
Yeah.
Largest bag on live.
I thought Trey had 40 one day. I thought he did.
He might have. Because I know the largest bag ever on Bass Live was caught.
I mean, it's 130 pounds for 4 days.
No, it wouldn't have been the largest bag, because that was Lee Livesey on Lake Fork like 4 years ago. He caught 42.
But maybe it was the largest fish.
Yeah, no, nobody broke 40 this year. A lot of 30s.
Yeah.
Which is crazy in and of itself. But
I mean, the top, what was it, 130 pounds, 125, like century belts all the way for the top 10. Like,
yeah, I mean, that's whole top 10 to break 100 pounds is insane.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. So I think it belongs up there.
I would agree.
But next pick, I feel like I'll do something closer to home, a little more near and dear to our hearts. I think we have to go title. I think it's got to be the Potomac, because the Potomac, I would love to go to the Bay, but I feel like Potomac deserves it, because the Potomac, you could do so much more. You could do anything you want. You could flip hard cover. You go fish grass. You could fish anything. You could even fish some like more main river stuff. You can get buried back in the creeks. You could frog. You could. It has it all. It's pretty awesome.
Potomac was definitely on my list. I was hoping I could get it a little later, but it was definitely on my list.
Yeah.
I mean, as a guy who has fished a lot of tidal water, as a guy who's a Bay guy, I guess I'm kind of a Potomac guy, a Delaware River guy. I mean, I've done, and all of us in this area probably have done more tidal water bass fishing than most. And I mean, the Potomac is just, in my opinion, undoubtedly, unquestionably the GOAT of the tidal water.
It fishes the biggest out of all of them. You could do the most things for a single tidal place.
And you get a lot more bites than you usually do on tidal fisheries. Tidal fisheries aren't particularly known for getting a lot of bites. You can get a lot of bites on the Potomac.
Yeah. You can go out there and just crack them in a patch of grass all day long. So I think it's a good one.
Good hit.
Yeah. Sue?
Boy, back to me.
Your face seemed like you didn't agree with that pick.
Zubris.
I don't know if I would have put the Potomac that high.
I'm trying to think of.
Yeah, I mean, like
I feel like I haven't been a lot of places, so I'm thinking of somewhere I've been that I could like.
Have you ever been to Lake Fork?
No, but that one's like kind of an obvious, I feel like.
All right. Well, then following suit of Lake Fork, something really close to there that really makes perfect sense, would be the Red River. Another phenomenal.
All right.
I'm sorry. Wrong river.
Oh, the Savy?
Definitely not that river. Here's a bold one. Here's a Zub take. Here it comes. Clear Lake.
Clear Lake?
Oh, Clear.
Clear.
I thought you said Lear.
California?
Clear Lake, California.
Clear Lake was on my list.
For putting that there just because of the pure innovation that came out of Clear Lake. I'm talking the real California bassing culture. A whole other thing that's totally forgotten because gas is too expensive and people don't feel like driving. And, MLF got rid of their Western circuit. There were so many phenomenal fisheries out there. I mean, Shasta with the record spot. That's another one up there. But that's not going to make the list because there's so many fisheries out in California. The Delta, but we already have our tidal thing, and the Delta could kind of be compared to Potomac if it had 10-pounders. But the Delta kind of sucks. The Delta's having a lot of trouble right now. It's a very, it's a tougher place. But Clear Lake, the swim bait culture that developed out there, just standard conventional tactics that were just fine-tuned, different types of, West Coast approaches that are now mainstream have all been pioneered on Clear Lake. And Clear Lake, if you check tournament results, they straight catch them out there. They still catch them. And it's a well-known spot, and they still catch them.
And I mean, Clear Lake is one of those places where I don't know if this was just like the path I took learning about things, but when I was growing up and like first getting into bass fishing, Clear Lake was one of the first places I ever heard of like being like a big bass factory. Clear Lake was one of the first places that was on the map of like people are consistently catching 10-pound bass in a body of water. Like,
yeah,
I remember hearing so much about that lake when I was first getting into bass fishing.
They used to, I mean, even back then, the Elite Series used to go out that way occasionally.
Yeah, didn't Steve Kennedy win there on a big swim bait?
Yeah, did he win or did he like top? He's done well there. I was listening to one of the Zaldane when they had him on. He was talking about it, throwing like when he went out west. He's like, we were fishing the Clear Lake, or I think it was Clear, and he was like, I went to a tackle shop and I spent like $1,000 on all these different like swim baits and stuff I'd never seen before, and just like throwing some of these giant huddles in and stuff. It was pretty cool.
If I remember correctly, the last time they were at Clear Lake, Steve Kennedy won the tournament throwing a line through swim bait at the end of docks, like hitting like the dock sticking out this way,
right, and just like firing it long
across the front of it.
It could have been that. Could have been them, or was it Rambanis? Maybe
he was probably in the mix. I'd imagine.
I don't know. There's so many, and just like now you look too. Just like slowly, the guys that are coming back over that are just dominating, that have dominated in California and finally got their doubloons up enough. Like Bryant Smith, how he's just dominating. He was a Clear Lake hammer.
Yeah, it was Steve. 122.
That's okay. It's doing all right.
Skeet Reese in second.
R.I.P. Skeet Reese.
Clear Lake Southern Cal? No,
it's not.
Like central.
It's like central, maybe even borderline.
Like central, approaching northern, because northern's where you get the mountains.
Yeah,
and these are all like mountain glacial lakes type ish. But he's a Delta guy.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Well, this is.
There it is.
This is a tough pick for me to make.
Yeah, but good luck.
In this spot, you have to. You have to. It's not my cup of tea. But
I know what you're gonna say.
It has to be. It has to be. We're at this point where it can't stay here any longer.
Well, and I know it's coming.
It's the St. Lawrence River.
Yeah. Well, are you throwing the Big O in that too?
I mean, I guess.
I feel like they go hand in hand.
I'd say it's not fair to have the entire Big O in it, but let's say the 50 miles outside of the mouth of the river.
Well, I mean, are you throwing Shamu in there? Shamu?
Yeah, I guess I would.
There it is. Yeah, let's just call it that. Because that is the tournament fishery.
I mean,
that's what's open during the tournament. That's what's covered.
It's one thing,
Yeah. Smallmouth is ruined.
Yeah, as people may or may not know, I have an interesting tournament history with the St. Lawrence River. I recognize how incredible it is. My bad tournament history is mainly because MLF likes to launch everybody out of Messina, so I've only ever launched that up there. And I've never had a boat big enough to make myself all the way to the lake. But down there, man, I mean, it's the best smallmouth fishery we've ever seen. And I think it's been a little overdone and played out with there being Bassmaster and MLF major tournaments on it every single year. And I think it's gotten to the point where you see the same stuff over and over again. It's a little like, okay, let's do it again. Okay, let's do it again. But they keep doing it again.
Yeah.
And it's not going down.
100 pounds.
No.
And it's never going down.
It's going up. I mean, it is. There was a time not long ago, like, I don't know, 12 years ago, where, like, it wasn't even comprehensible that, like, you could catch bags of smallmouth like that. Like, there are now, and part of it is management, part of it is live scope, this, that, or the what. Part of it's gobies.
Huge part of it's gobies.
But there are now multiple places where you can do this. Some well known, some not. But it was not very long ago that it wasn't possible. It wasn't even imagined that people are breaking the Century Club on all smallmouth.
Yep.
And the St. Lawrence was the first place people saw it. The St. Lawrence was the first place that, people realized that this type of thing was possible. And it's still, while there are other places where you can do it, it's still probably the best.
The fire take. 20 years ago, the St. Lawrence River was one with largemouth.
Yeah.
They weren't even, and granted, the smallmouth may not have been that big at the time because of, the gobies haven't really fully developed yet. But I'm sure there's still, bait eating 4-pounders out there. But the technology wasn't there enough, and people just really didn't understand. We didn't have the motors that were strong enough to fight that current. It just wasn't efficient to get out there. But that's another testament to the St. Lawrence River, is that it is the most slept on largemouth fishery that you'll ever see. It is so much fun.
Yeah.
You're not going to win a tournament with them. You'll never come close, but you're going to have the time of your life.
Yeah, you beat the brakes off from there.
And if you want to catch a carp, let me tell you about Waddington.
You got to think about things like in the 90s and stuff, it probably wasn't even conceivable to let me go check in the middle of the current in 60 feet of water.
Yeah. See if they're there.
And see if they're there. Like that
just
probably
drop shot.
that wasn't even a thought.
I mean, Carolina. Well, I mean, heck, the only thing you could throw out there is the old ball and chain. And the Carolina rig was made on the St. Lawrence River.
Yeah. St. Lawrence River, sneaky, potentially the best Carolina rig body of water in the country.
Correct.
But yeah, I mean, it's the best smallmouth fishery we've ever seen. Will probably be the best smallmouth fishery we will ever see. It's got so much tournament history. It's got so many mega smallmouth bags. I mean, you can't leave it off a list like this. It's impossible.
Yeah. It does deserve it.
I'm curious to see when the other Great Lakes will start to be explored a little more.
They're getting there. They're poking around.
I mean,
poking around in Michigan.
Saginaw. We're not going to talk about Saginaw.
But that's the thing. Saginaw was new. Nobody did that.
Yeah.
No.
I mean,
that's new in the past 5 years. I feel
they mess around with Sturgeon Bay, which isn't super new, but it's relatively new. I mean,
that's getting up there.
The first time they
all
did
those
Sturgeon
little bays
Bay
up
was
there,
probably 10 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, but Green Bay, Sturgeon Bay, I think that could be the next one. That's an untapped market up there.
Yeah.
It's just it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, there's a few other places they can go, and they've definitely been expanding. It's just tough in a tournament format messing with those lakes. You got to have somewhere protected that,
well, that's what I'm saying. It's Sturgeon Bay, Green Bay.
Well, that's why that's the one place where they've done it, but
no, you can't just send out into Lake Huron. You will die.
No,
that's
wouldn't be great
in a bass boat, especially to my fellow White River Marine anglers.
All right, well, I guess I gotta go again, and this is a tough one. I have a lot of lakes to choose from here. But I think I'm just going to go with my gut, and this might be sentimental because I think probably the first Bassmaster tournament I ever watched was Kevin Van Dam absolutely beating the brakes off of them here, and I'm going to go with Toledo Bend.
When you say Kevin Van Dam beating the brakes off something, that could go anyway.
Yeah, that could be 37 lakes. But this one, I mean, around the time when I was first getting into tournament bass fishing, I think this lake was number 1 on the Bassmaster Top 100 lakes like 3 years in a row. And then it kind of fell off the radar for a couple years, and now it's back with an Open and an Elite Series last year, and it's just as good as it's always been. Guys catching absolute mega bags. You saw guys fish it a little differently now than it used to be in a different time of year. I mean, they went in the winter and were doing the whole ping and the minnow thing. When I
Toledo Bend
saw
grass fishing is something, is that what you watch Kevin do? Is that when it was on that grass
Kevin
fight
was
in that
cranking.
water?
Kevin was cranking. I think it was early.
Was it like the summer? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was early summer, and guys were doing grass and fishing up shallow and stuff. But I think Kevin was doing the old silent 6XD before everybody knew about that. I think that was in those days when he was still cleaning up on that without people aware of what crankbait he was throwing. But yeah, I mean, you saw especially with the Elite Series event last year, like looking at some of these guys' graphs, like there's giant fish all over that place. It's filled with them. And there's a lot of different ways to catch them. And it's been, before the St. Lawrence had its run of being the top lake on the Bassmaster, like Toledo Bend was up there year after year after year after year. And people have kind of forgotten about it a little bit, but it's not because it's gotten any worse. It's still that good.
It's always just a write-off that it's always going to be that good because Toledo Bend is a mammoth. Toledo Bend is huge.
It's huge.
Toledo Bend, it has to be top 3 largest reservoirs in the country.
It's pretty big.
And it's also Toledo Bend's pretty kind of dangerous. Toledo Bend is still a forest.
Yeah.
There's so much standing timber. If you are not in the boat lanes at Toledo Bend.
Toledo Bend is...
You're going to have some paint missing on your skeg. Give me a number, Brent.
185,000 acres. That's huge.
There could be a lot of largemouth swimming around there.
Yeah.
A lot of largemouth. And like, it's another place you could do anything.
And it's got a ton of bait. It's got a lot of deep water. It's got standing timber. It's got grass. I mean, it's a really, really big habitat factory.
The beast. It's habitat. And it has F1s.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. All right. Well, Zub, your third pick.
Third pick from Jason Zubris. They haven't really touched on it all that much. And this is one that, I'm surprised I haven't mentioned it yet. The fishbowl. And what fishbowl is that? Come on. Anybody?
Chobe?
No? Oh, no, not that fishbowl. No.
Toho?
The sixth Great Lake. Lake
Claire.
St. Clair.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely just a smallmouth miracle. And it's a fishbowl because there's nothing out there. There's a couple of little spots.
It's the flats for smallmouth.
It's fishing a grass flat, but the grass is 4-inch perch grass.
Yeah.
And the largemouth are smallmouth, and they're everywhere, and they're giant. And it's just everything's. The other part is, you had the Open last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who was leading that Open?
Was it Shakira?
No, it was Ish Monroe with 25 pounds of largemouth.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
I remember that.
Did Shakira wind up winning that tournament?
Yeah, because he caught like 35 pounds a day or something stupid.
Yeah.
After that. No, it's silly. It's absolutely silly out there and forward facing. That was the one place where I know that you could have caught fish on 2D because the first time I went out there, I didn't have live scope yet. Everybody else did, but I was still catching them on 2D in 13 feet of water.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and you could see a fish on. It's a well-fished place. This is 2022. and you're still fishing, and I would see a mark on a 2D, I'd throw a drop shot at it, and I'd catch a 4-pounder. Where else can you do that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, it was easy. I mean, and not only St. Clair, but the two rivers up and down. The Detroit River is probably my favorite fishery in the country. I absolutely love the Detroit River. It is so much fun. It is a blast. It is current. It sets them up right where they need to be. And it's just, it's a factory.
It's a mini St. Lawrence.
I mean, St. Clair was on my list as my backup for if I didn't get to St. Lawrence. But I wasn't going to take it coming off the heels of St. Lawrence because back-to-back smallmouth fisheries. I think St. Clair is a great pick, but it is a draft where we're competing with each other. So I'll just say St. Clair is like the no, we can't go to the St. Lawrence. We have the St. Lawrence at home. And the St. Lawrence at home is Lake St. Clair.
Take the St. Lawrence at home any day of the week.
Yo, no, absolutely. It's a great pick. I just had to find, I had to give the people a reason my team's better.
No, I mean, the St. Lawrence is a whole different animal. I mean, you're not catching 8-pounders out of St. Clair yet.
But you could catch a 7.
You're getting close. You're catching the 7s. It's getting there.
It's only a matter of time.
I don't know. I don't know because the biology of St. Clair is weird. A lot of those fish still eat the perch.
I mean, the way it fishes, I like St. Clair more than the St. Lawrence.
Oh, I would.
Yeah.
The fact that you can crank fish there and not just sit there with a drop shot all day.
You're gonna sit there with a drop shot all day.
Yeah, but I like it. I like it
that.
It makes sense. It makes sense to me. It feels like
you're actually fishing something.
It feels like the flat for smallmouth.
Yeah,
that's all it is. You're not really going for minute differences. You're tracking more movement than anything.
True. Yeah, you're targeting something more than just like drifting in the same.
I was so confused the first time I got there. I'm like, what am I looking for?
It's It's a super unique, super cool, super good fishery that is one of the best smallmouth factories in the country, and allegedly, apparently now, has big bags of largemouth too.
Somewhere. And you know what the best bite on St. Clair is that I've ever experienced?
What?
Early spring when they're on the riprap, and you can catch them cranking in 4 feet of water, as many as you want.
Insane.
Shut up. All right.
Absolutely.
Shut up. Brennan.
Detroit River rat bite. Anyway.
I don't know. I'm torn.
You got to know something.
I feel like they're all kind of equal at this point, just because.
Then pick your favorite.
I don't know. Lake.
Or you got to pick 2.
So. A pack Kong. Not a pack Kong? No, okay.
No.
I guess it doesn't. Let's see.
It qualifies, but absolutely not.
I still got a lot of picks on my list.
I mean, there's a lot of good lakes. I feel like there's not many that stand out to me as like exceptional above the others. I'll go with one in Jared's honor because this place, even Jared Reed enjoyed it and was able to catch fish.
Oh,
and if Jared can catch fish here, anyone can catch fish here. Chickamauga.
Ooh.
And I feel like Chickamauga is kind of slept on. I don't even know a crazy amount about it, but I feel like I know there's a lot you could do there. I feel like it's kind of a Gunnersville-esque lake. Like you could do some ledge fishing there. You can go up shallow. You can crank them in grass. Like there's a lot of different things you could do on that lake. It's a big like river system lake. And I feel like it's been kind of slept on lately. I feel like there was a lot of tournaments there in the past, but not as much now.
We're not big TVA guys. That's the thing. And like you could go down at any TVA fishery, really. We could be thrown on this list at any given time for certain reasons. But like Chick's a lake you really think of. Like if you're thinking of, like Alice talks about, Clear Lake being one of those early ones. One of those early ones for me was Chick. And after experiencing Chick, go ahead.
I want to say, and I might have my years off a little bit, I want to say from like 2010 to 2018, Chick had a run.
Mm-hmm. Like that's why it hasn't been recent.
Like a legendary run where like it was in the conversation for best lake in the country
every year.
For a while
Absolutely.
there. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I think it's kind of rebounded a little bit, but I know that it definitely it fell off significantly from what it was when they were absolutely blasting. I'm like, what was that? That tournament? It was a FLW tour tournament where that guy he broke the century mark throwing a rig on ledges there. It was like a crazy I remember that was like one of the first like tournaments where people were like, oh, they're catching like giants on Chickamauga.
Can't find it.
Every year a 13-pounder gets caught out of Chickamauga.
Yeah, I mean our boy Riley caught a 10 at Chickamauga at the college national championship.
Damn.
Main thing that's going on with Chick in the most recent years is TVA. One, the pressure's catching up to it.
Yeah, I had
and
heard
the second part of that is they're using it more as a flood control reservoir now. And with that, they're fluctuating the water a lot more, which is causing disturbances in habitat. I think they had a couple years of bad spawn.
Yeah.
Because of fluctuating water levels in the spring.
Isn't it? Is it on the beginning of the chain?
It's smack dab in the middle.
It's in the middle, really? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, there's some more.
Because it's I believe it's below
Knoxville. Bar right above it. Yeah, it's right above Chattanooga.
Right.
I think it's below Knoxville, but above
smack in the middle. Smack in the middle.
Why would they be using that one for flood control? I guess because it's just around the major city.
Well, one, you're in the major city, but two, the geography of that place, you're in the largest valleys right there. You have the two highest elevations on each side of that. And Chick is like a big prairie.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
But yeah, I mean, definitely a legendary lake that had a run. I mean, they still catch them there, even though it is going through a little bit of a rough patch. I would like to see some major tournaments go back there again. There was a point in time where I had Chickamauga fatigue because every tour was going there every year, it felt like. And now it's like, oh, what happened to the Chick? So I would like to see what it's like now. But I mean, as far as I know, it's from what I've heard is it's on its way back up, but it's not quite to where it was.
Yeah.
Well, you got another one, kid.
Well, I'm torn between two. And one of them's one off the walls that I feel like you boys would not. I don't know. I think you would partially agree with, but at the same time, it's not quite as proven yet. Or one that kind of is proven that's been pretty good. It's been up and coming. They're going there a lot more lately. Do I go off the walls?
Brendan, you're the most by-the-book person I know. When you say I want to go off the walls, go off the walls.
Off the walls. Lake George.
You tore the wall down.
I mean, like, that's not even a wall. That's a...
I don't know. I mean, what was that one with, what's his name? Jody White? They had like 20... It was an absurd amount of like largemouth on Lake George. It was like...
You just removed a structurally supporting beam.
I don't know how to react to this take.
Dude, Lake George is sick.
That take is
lake trout.
Crazy, bro.
Lake George for going out with taking the wife and kids on a nice family vacation.
Think about how little time we have spent on Lake George and the amount of fun that we've had there.
I mean,
imagine if we had like a couple of weeks out of the year up there to figure that place out. Like actually like figure it out. It's not a huge lake, but they're in there.
Why? But what would be the point?
Dude, you could fish like 30, 40 feet deep for largemouth and catch 20 pounds. Just messing around.
You're gonna catch 20 pounds, you know, like what's the drive behind
it's
Lake
a
George?
Cool body of water. I don't know. I don't fish anything like it. It's super clear, deep.
I did win a tournament on Lake George once, so I have a soft spot for it. Here's one thing I will say about Lake George is Lake George is one of those lakes that I think has so much untapped potential, and I think still to this day people haven't totally pieced the puzzle together on Lake George. Like I think if Lake George became an actual popular bass fishery, like I think if you put the Elite Series on Lake George and gave them like 3 weeks to really dive into it, I think there's ways to consistently catch mid-20s bags out of that.
We haven't messed around on that lake with live scope. Like we haven't. We fished it with nothing but 360, you know, and we could definitely hit 20 pounds there, no problem now. Yeah. And imagine what you could do if you're out there scoping smallmouth. Like they're in there. There's 4 or 5 pound smallmouth all over that place. There's 4 or 5 pound large. There's probably like 6, 7, 8 pound largemouth. I think it has huge potential. It's a pretty cool lake.
I think it has crazy potential that nobody's unlocked.
Yeah.
I think
no tournaments go out there.
I think it could be insane if you there's weird ways to catch them out there that if you got really dialed, it could be really crazy. With all that said, it's an absolutely ludicrous, insane
off the walls. If I want to fish 4 lakes for the rest of my life, I think George would be a fun one to have in the back pocket.
I mean, it's so insane. It's so insane.
Like, I don't know. The only reason, like, granted it's a great fishery, but it's just like it doesn't have that total wow factor. Granted, I could go to Lake George and have the time of my life, but I don't think I'll catch a largemouth over 6 pounds. I don't think I'll catch a smallmouth over 6 pounds. I might.
I think I could.
Who knows?
I think I would.
It's the mystery.
If you don't live in our area, if like bass fishermen in Tennessee or Alabama are watching this, they've known every lake we've talked about until you see this, and they're like, "What the fuck?" They're like, "Is he talking about the lake that's in the middle of the St. Johns River?" Like, what is
No, Lake George is not little. It's a fairly sizable lake right below Champlain in the Adirondack Park. And if you're taking the conventional route to Champlain, you will drive past that and you're like, wow, that's a nice place. I want to take my family. There's a wonderful restaurants.
Big vacation lake, big party lake.
Lake trout.
Little
lake trout of Lake George.
But there's biggins in there, and people are just starting to find out about it because live scope is a thing and you catch them so deep and in such weird ways there. But still, even with that, like, I expected this to be put on the map and people catching crazy bags out of there now, but still people haven't really done it. I wish I lived closer to it because I would like to be the guy to finally do it, but there's definitely ways to make that lake super special.
Oh yeah.
But I think that is a similar situation to like what you sent in the private chat, Zub, whereas like not the biggest lake in the world, not the most known, but it's primed for a group of guys to go there and really figure it out and fucking shock the world.
Oh, and have a blast.
Yeah.
Trying to find
I think it's primed for a arc like that, but anyway.
There'll just never be any tournaments on it because it's almost impossible to get on. Is the fun part.
Let's get your last pick, Jason.
Oh, we're still sweeping. We're still moving.
This is the last one.
Forgotten region of the country. All right, going back into the forgotten ones. You know, Ross Barnett I'm sorry. No, absolutely not. No, because I'm still thinking here, and it's a really tough one. It is a really, really tough pick because I have two. And I have local ties to one. I have local.
You're gonna say.
I guess there's two. I mean, we can go with the famous one. I'll let Alex pick the famous one at the end because I know what he's gonna pick. But I'm gonna go with one that you two have experience. No, I do know what you're gonna pick. We haven't touched the Finger Lakes yet, and you can pick a lot of these. We haven't touched the Finger Lakes. We haven't touched New York. We've touched New York, but
we've touched New York 3 times now, actually. So
we've touched New York actually more than anywhere else. I don't know. When you think of New York, there's a bunch of the Finger Lakes, and I was going to throw this between either Oneida or Cayuga, and I'm going to go with Cayuga on it.
If you picked Oneida over,
that'd be disgusting.
I would have reached through the computer and punched you in the mouth.
I fished a tournament on Oneida in the fall, right in October. I had 21 pounds. I think I was on 30th.
Oneida just
coming back.
Wings strong. Up and down way too much.
No, it's up. Oneida to the moon right now. Oneida to the moon.
Right now. Right now.
No, the Gobies are there. The Gobies have won.
Oneida's so volatile.
But I'm gonna hammer. That's a whole other topic. We're hammering Cayuga. Cayuga just set the New York State record largemouth on a guy throwing
a the records. Didn't have the smallmouth. Yeah.
They catch a record smallmouth out of there every year.
They broke the record smallmouth and then caught the same guy caught the same fish the next year and broke the record that he had previously set.
How does he know?
Correct. And you could say the new records out of the St. Lawrence with the kid that let the fish back. But as of now, the standing record is out of New York. Is out of Cayuga. I give the record to the kid on the St. Larry. But the record book shows Cayuga Lake for a good reason. Holy crap. What a pond.
Cayuga is definitely the furthest north you can catch largemouth that big.
Absolutely. They do not get that big anywhere else. That far north. The winters are just too much.
You're talking about like Gunnersville level largemouth bags in New York State.
We'll be there in a couple months to test it out.
More than a couple.
And you're catching both. Yeah. Both.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time where it was like you obviously need to catch largemouth to win. That's not necessarily true anymore. You can definitely win a tournament on smallmouth there now.
Well, the whole other conversation out there, and this is a wild take, they do the same thing. They're eating the same things. And you just don't know what you're flipping into. And you don't know what's going to come out. Yeah. And it's crazy. And it's awesome. And it's just the factory up north right now.
It's a good pick. I think it's a good pick. I think it's an underappreciated pick.
Yeah. Well, because I feel like Cayuga had some bad stuff going on for like everyone was like, Cayuga's on the downfall. Like that was like a couple of years ago. We were all like, "Ooh, Cayuga's going down," and then these last like 2 or 3 years, they just kind of went. Yeah. There was a lot of issues with the grass there. They were not doing hot with.
It's still having trouble.
Think about its potential.
Yeah, but they're still catching them.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep catching them.
So you claimed you knew what my last pick was going to be. So what is it?
Heart.
I don't know.
No.
Wow.
What did you think it was going to be?
Was it mentioned?
No.
Was it mentioned in a joking, nonchalant manner?
No, not that one. Not that one.
Is it a place in Florida?
I would still put that up there for, I'll just say it real quick. I thought you were going to pick Grand. Because although Grand is an absolute kick in the teeth every time you go there, the amount of history and the amount of bass fishing that has developed off of Grand Lake is just a milestone in itself. Yeah, it sucks right now. Yeah, it's tough, but it is a tournament fishery where you think you need a grinder. That's a fishery.
It's probably on my list if this list was done in October. To be honest with you. But anyway, I'm going to go with one that's kind of a more recent star. I mean, it's always been a big tournament lake. There's always been big tournaments there. But it seems like in recent history, it's really been shining and separating itself as not just another tournament lake and like an absolute fish factory. And I got to go with the hot hand here, and that's Lake Murray.
I was torn between that. I was going to say that before Lake George.
Mm-hmm. Who's either going to be there or Hartwell?
I mean, Murray is a mix of history because they've had tournaments there forever and a mix of what's hot because, I mean, it's always been a good fishery with a lot of fish in it. But the way it's been behaving lately the past few years is just insane. And I'm dying to get out there. There's actually there's a little bit of a chance I might sneak over there in March. I hope I can. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. We'll see. But I'm dying to get out there.
It looks like a fun lake to go to. Like
the herring have just fully developed that.
Mm-hmm. And we haven't. I also wanted to point out that we haven't really had like a herring dominant lake on this, which is a big sector and factor of bass fishing right now. So I wanted it to get some representation, and Lake Murray, in my opinion, is clearly and by far the best of the lakes in that category.
You don't think
right now? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just like, I don't know what it is. I think the herring have finally developed and people are tracking them now, and it's just finally getting that mainstream attention.
Mm-hmm.
But those fish out there have just developed in ways that they haven't around the country because of you have the clarity, you have the forage. Another one that's coming close to that is Clark's Hill. But still, nothing sets up like Murray because Murray's also a giant.
Yeah.
What's the acreage down there? Murray's up there for one of the largest reservoirs in the country. There's a lot.
And I mean, just the sheer number of 3.5 pounders you can catch in a day there. Like, you can catch 100 3+ pounders in one day. You're not gonna be catching 8, 9, 10 pounders out of there. There are big fish. You could catch a 6, you could catch a 7, but just the sheer number of like 3 to 5 pound class fish is nutso. It's nuts.
Yeah. It is a cool place. It's been putting out lately.
Yeah, no, Murray's on the list for sure. Hopefully that one makes it out of the group chat because that's just, I don't know. Murray and the shad spawn for me would probably be the closest thing I ever get to heaven.
Let's just hit, what's it called, on the way down.
If you guys like and subscribe, we could do the Bums Talk Bass Road Tour. This is all up to you guys. Hit the button.
Fund our way to the tour.
But anyway, so yeah, that's our draft. We covered a few things. I don't know how we got to like 2 hours this quick, but it's 11 p.m. and I have work tomorrow, so I think we got to wrap this up.
It's been fun.
So thank you for listening. Fun. And we will be back.
Hopefully, all 3 of us again.
Yeah, we'll see.
Seeing y'all soon. Get your dollars together because we got the Bums Talk Bass Fantasy coming at you real soon. All right. Until next time.